Alex Eala just proved she belongs. Alex Eala went toe-to-toe with the second-best player on the planet, on clay, in Rome, at the Foro Italico, and pushed Elena Rybakina harder than that scoreline will ever tell you. 4-6, 3-6. Straight sets on paper. But if you actually watch this match, you know the numbers are lying. This was closer than it had any right to be. And the 20-year-old Filipina proved, without question, that she belongs on the biggest stage in tennis. Setting the scene, Eala didn't stumble into this match. She earned her way here. She opened the tournament with a comeback win over Magdalena Freck, nothing comfortable about it. Then she handled Wang Xinyu in the second round 6-4, 6-3, which carried extra meaning as revenge for that painful Auckland final defeat earlier in the year. By the time she reached the third round, she had already made history, her best ever result at a WTA 1000 event on clay, the first time she had advanced this far at this level on this surface. That's the context. She wasn't limping into this match. She was on form, which makes the draw all the more brutal. Her opponent, Elena Rybakina, world number 2, reigning Australian Open champion, former Wimbledon champion, one of only 6 players in WTA history to reach the round of 16 at all 6 WTA 1000 events in a single season. She arrived in Rome with 29 wins on the year. 29. Rybakina isn't just playing well right now, she may be playing the best tennis of her entire career. And Eala made her work for every point. The first set from the opening game, it was clear this wasn't going to be straightforward for Rybakina. That first game alone lasted 11 points. Eala held, barely, scrappily, fingernails dug in, but she held. And that set the tone for everything that followed. The turning point came in the third game, a 13-point marathon that Rybakina eventually won, breaking Eala's serve in the process. That single game tilted the entire set. From there, both players held serve all the way to 6-4, with one break of serve deciding the whole opener. The numbers explain why. Rybakina hit 4 aces to Eala's 1. Eala committed 3 double faults, including one at a critical break point in that third game. On clay, against a server of Rybakina's caliber, you simply cannot hand away free points. Her first serve was so clean and so relentless that Eala could barely get a foothold on it. When your opponent's serve functions as a weapon of mass destruction, your own service games must be bulletproof. Eala's wasn't, not quite.
Not yet.
The second set, and the moment that mattered most, Rybakina broke immediately in the opening game of the second set, and you could feel the match starting to slip. A breakdown in the second set against the world number 2, after losing the first. This is exactly the kind of moment that exposes players. This is where you see the shoulders fall, the racket go limp, the body language quietly surrender. Eala broke straight back. Her first break of the entire match. And then she backed it up with a hold to lead 2-1 against Rybakina in Rome, after already losing the first set. That stretch of tennis, that refusal to fold, was the most impressive thing Eala produced all match. She didn't just survive the momentum shift. She reversed it entirely. That is elite mental composure, and no scoreline can take it away. But this is where Rybakina demonstrated exactly why she sits at number 2 in the world. She didn't panic. She simply elevated. Games 4-6, 3 straight, breaking Eala in the 5th, consolidating with a hold, and suddenly it was 4-2. Cold, efficient, ruthless. The experience gap showed itself right there. Eala created an opening, and Rybakina sealed it without hesitation. From there, Rybakina broke once more in the 10th game to close it out, 6-3. What the numbers actually tell you, here's what deserves far more attention than it will receive. Eala finished the match with a 67% first serve percentage. Rybakina, 62%. Eala was getting more first serves into the court than the second-best player on the planet. That is not what you expect from a 20-year-old playing her first ever match against a top 2 opponent. The real difference came on return. Rybakina won 47% of return points, an absurdly high number. She was reading Eala's serve, punishing second serves, and making every service game feel like walking a tightrope. That return game, not talent, not mentality. That's what separated these two. What this loss actually means, some people will glance at this result and say she lost in straight sets. Nothing to see here. Those people are completely wrong. This is the same Alex Eala who was dismantled by Marta Kostyuk in Rome 12 months ago. One game won, the kind of scoreline you don't revisit. That was a year ago. Today, she's taking the world number 2 to tightly contested sets where a single break of serve decides everything. She's not just surviving on clay anymore. She's competing. That gap between being destroyed and being genuinely competitive takes most players 3 or 4 years to close. Eala closed it in 1. Her record against top 10 opponents now stands at 3 wins and 4 losses. Nearly half of her matches against the 10 best players in the world have ended in her favor at 20 years old. In what universe is that not remarkable? The ranking and financial reality, it matters that we talk about what this run means on paper because the points are real. Eala entered Rome ranked 42nd in the world. The Grand Slam seeding cutoff sits at 32. She has been chasing that number all spring. The points from 3 matches in Rome, added to what she earned in Madrid, are going on the board regardless of how today ended. Next up, the Strasbourg Grand Prix, listed as her final clay tune-up before Roland Garros. A seeded entry at the French Open would be significant. It means avoiding top seeds until at least the 3rd round, giving her the space to find rhythm and build confidence through the draw rather than walking straight into a top 5 player on day 2. The bigger picture even ending here, this Italian Open run is quietly one of the most important weeks of Eala's season. She beat Freck in a comeback. She settled the score with Wang. And she made Rybakina sweat through a match most analysts expected to be one-sided. 3 matches on the red clay of Rome against increasingly dangerous opponents, and she competed in every single one of them. A year ago, she couldn't buy a win on this surface at this level. Today, she's building a resume on it. The Nadal Academy influence is visible, the patience in her baseline exchanges, the willingness to construct points instead of forcing them, the trust in the process on a surface that punishes impatience. It's all showing up now. You don't push Rybakina through 11-point opening games and 13-point break battles by accident. That's preparation. That's coaching. That's a player who arrived with a clear plan and executed it as well as anyone could against someone who is, right now, simply better.
Right now.
Because at 20, Eala is not the finished product. She's closing the gap every single tournament. And the trajectory says everything words don't need to.